Shrek video in 2026 is crazy. Title of the video, Lord Farquaad was right, and I'm tired of pretending that he's not. What the fuck is this? This video got 600,000 views in half a year from a channel with only 30K subs. This better be fucking peak, bro.
Many of you out there, Kodo and I grew up on Shrek. It's one of our favorite childhood movies.
Same, baby.
And even to this day, we both still love the
Shrek 1, absolute fucking peak. I could probably do dialogue for at least 20% of that movie, even though I haven't seen it in like, I don't know, 3 months. I try to watch it every year, of course.
movie. But man, going back and watching it again through the eyes of an adult
It's peak.
was a really sobering experience
It's
for
good.
both of us.
Yes, very much so.
And we certainly still find the movie entertaining, but it is very clear that Shrek is inarguably subversive in ways that we just didn't realize
What
when
do
we
you
were
mean?
young.
And after watching Shrek again,
I just watched this. I've never really had any altering perspectives. But then again, I don't really actively watch it. The only movie that I actively watch is like Emperor's New Groove, which I try to watch pretty frequently because I love that movie. I recently showed it to my fiance for the first time. An amazing movie, but I don't really remember anything changing too much.
I came to the realization that Farquaad was like totally right and totally justified in just about everything that he did.
And I think a big part of
I
it
don't know about that.
is, regardless of the actual actions he made, the film paints him as bad. As a kid,
I mean, there are a lot of movies that do that. Like, for example, Griffith in Berserk is totally justified. You know, if Guts wasn't so selfish, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But Lord Farquaad is not one of those characters who I assumed was justified as I got older. But maybe I'm missing something because I just, it's a comfort movie. I'm not really actively paying attention.
or a less discerning adult, you're not even paying attention to what he actually did or the motivation behind it. It's just, oh, the music came on to tell you he's bad. Oh, we know he's the villain.
Right. The framing is the issue here. And so to that end,
Some of
the
you
main
may
point that I want to
die,
make to you
but
is
that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
that in this movie, Farquaad is painted as the villain, but he is absolutely right. Farquaad is the only character with any selfless motivation in the entire movie. Because one of the things you see about Farquaad very quickly on
This motherfucker's about to make me rewatch Shrek tonight. What, your girl hasn't seen Emperor's New Groove before you and she's 16? Brother, you think I date a 16-year-old? That's way too old. They're pretty much expired at that point. The Iron Giant is a good one. Well, maybe I'll watch it.
is that his entire
Okay.
motivation is based around making Duloc, his own personal kingdom, as perfect as it can possibly be. Yet the show is constantly making fun of him or throwing ad hominems at him or attacking him when he's right. I mean, consider this. List out all of the other motivations of the characters in the movie. What does Shrek want? Shrek wants to get rid of the fairy
Shrek wants to be left alone and to get these illegals off his property. Very justified.
tale creatures that have invaded his home and returned to his former lifestyle. That's what he
Yeah.
wants. Donkey
Completely
wants
normal.
protection from Farquaad's men and to make friends and have companionship. And Fiona wants to break her curse and marry her true love.
Yeah.
Now, none of those motivations are bad or evil at all, but all of them are fundamentally self-interested except for Farquaad. Because again, what Farquaad wants is order and perfection for his kingdom, and he's ultimately martyred for pursuing that noble goal.
We're going to get
No, but he only wants that because he wants people to glaze the shit out of him. It's completely self-serving. What are we talking about here?
into it, but the movie paints Farquaad as super selfish for wanting a princess, but we get a
Well, he wants to kill Shrek just to get his property, and then he wants to, like, abduct Fiona and forcibly impregnate her to be his wife. What are we talking about here?
clear indication he is doing it to legitimize his title as king for the betterment of Duloc.
Right. And also, I don't know, in order to keep a kingdom going, you kind of need an heir, huh?
Yeah, that's a bit important.
Very sensible sequence of events and things that Farquaad does. All of it makes sense. But oh man, the writers desperately want you to hate Farquaad. And you see this almost instantly because they introduce him to you in a scene where he's torturing the gingerbread man. Now, if you ignore a lot of the context surrounding this, you could believe that he's a bad guy. He tells you what he's doing and why he's doing it. The only reason he is torturing the gingerbread man is to find out where the rest of the fairy tale creatures are.
Now tell me, where are the others?
And the reason why he wants them gone is because they are ruining his perfect society and, to quote him, poisoning his perfect world. Now that sounds harsh, but when you look at the things they're doing and how much of a nuisance they make themselves, all this makes perfect sense, even if his methods aren't.
Well, they're a nuisance when all like 10,000 of them are put in one swamp. Right? They're really not that bad.
Ideal. But also consider what he could have done. Farquaad could have resorted to more extreme methods like
Especially in a world that has, I don't know, literal fire-breathing dragons.
enslavement or even exterminatus. But instead, this dude opts peacefully to relocate these guys at great detriment to himself.
Think of the cost to relocate them rather than just send them on their way or exterminate them.
Okay, that's a fair point. He could have just killed them all. That's very fair. But didn't he kill the Muffin Man?
Right. That clearly took resources and effort. Now, the only exception that you could point to and say, okay, Farquaad's out of line for doing this. This is wrong. The only exception is he kills the mama bear, which he uses to make a rug. And yeah, that definitely feels forced and out of character for Farquaad, but even so, I'm still willing to say that he deserved to spoil himself for a job well done.
He killed a motherfucker and put his skin as his carpet. What are we talking about here? I feel like we're trolling. I feel like we're bugging here, man.
Look at how clean Duloc is. Did he not deserve this?
Yeah, if the cost is that he killed a bear, what are we talking about? But on top of that, if you're going to use that as evidence that he's evil for making a rug out of the bear, which
He's a self-obsessed egomaniac, bro. That's all he is.
ostensibly would be a threat to him because he kicked them out and exiled them. But how much more evil then are Shrek and Fiona for turning a random frog and snake who are of no threat to them into balloon animals and sending them into outer space?
Absolutely right. Hey. Absolutely right. But that's why I like Shrek, because Shrek is a piece of shit. He is. He is a absolute piece of shit here, 100%. Hey, but this is a movie where there's no real clear 100% good guy. But to claim that Farquaad was in the right to that amount, I don't know, bro. I think that's cap. They could both be shit. They could both be shit.
That genuinely happens. They blow them up like balloon animals and send them into outer space.
And
Yeah,
tie him into a knot. Fiona ties the snake into a balloon animal.
they're just minding their own business.
At least Farquaad had the decency to kill the bear. Fiona's out here torturing snakes and frogs.
The fairy tale creatures are persecuted all throughout the
Just because 3 people are bad doesn't mean one of them are good.
movie, yet they're clearly a nuisance and don't belong in Duloc. We're shown that Farquaad hates them and wants them out, but we see clearly that it's not because of some immutable characteristic that the characters have, it's because they've poisoned his perfect kingdom. And again, that phrasing is used to paint him as a bad guy. When we look at it, it is completely logical for him to want this.
Well, yeah, and Farquaad doesn't state how they've poisoned the world, so it leads you to wonder. But then you look at what these fairy tale creatures do, and it's like, oh, I see how he came to that conclusion. Because whenever these fairy tale creatures arrive at Shrek's house, you want to know the first thing they do?
Why do I feel like this video is going to turn into a Hitler was right for killing the Jews type video? It really feels like we're headed that direction right now in this video, dude.
They invade his home, they vandalize it, they lock him out of his own house. These people are a nuisance. Like, I can see why he'd want them gone.
Now, you can call me schizo, and to be fair, this is Shrek Schizo Hour, but the more I go back and watch these kids' movies, the more I see the subtle messaging to normalize things like accepting outsiders, even to the detriment of your own people, like we see in this movie.
Well, you can definitely see in this movie, they
Shriga is crazy.
want you to be afraid of authoritarians, even authoritarians that are benevolent, that are doing you good, that are fixing your society, even to the point of making them perfect. Shouldn't we want capable, able, courageous, strong leaders to actually fix the problems?
Wait a minute. They're cooking. It took them 9 minutes, but I think they're now cooking. I might be on Lord Farquaad's side. I might have to rewatch this movie tonight. They're making a lot of sense right now. Shrek Schizo Hour may have just changed my mind.
You can feel the postmodern undertones of this film, where individualism is so important to them that even if the society is literally perfect, it's still not enough because one guy has too much control. Because we see that after Shrek completes Farquaad's quest and delivers Fiona back to him, Farquaad honors his deal with Shrek despite having no reason to hold up his end of the bargain. Because we've seen he doesn't like fairy tale creatures, yet he is still honorable enough to relocate them, again, at the cost of his own manpower and resources to do so. And
I fear they're cooking.
on top of that, we're going to see later It is totally logical for him to take out this ogre, but yet he still shows honor in not only letting him live, but keeping his end of the bargain.
Now, what's even better about this is it appears as though Farquaad has been successful and has made Duloc a truly perfect place, and that's evidenced by the fact that the city is pristine. It's clean, it's orderly, it's safe, it's prosperous, you don't have fent zombies running around everywhere, and even Shrek himself acknowledges this near the end of the movie.
I love Duloc, first of all, very clean.
And what's funny is the mirror that Farquaad brings in, whenever Farquaad says, mirror, mirror on the wall, is this not the most perfect kingdom of them all? The mirror doesn't say, you know what, this kingdom actually sucks. The mirror says, well, yeah, it's fine, you're just not a king. He doesn't reject the claim that Duloc is perfect. He doesn't. He only rejects the claim that Farquaad's a king. So naturally, Farquaad, to write this, sets off to seek a queen. To, again, as we talked about before, cement his legitimacy as king and presumably produce an heir to keep it going. But add on top of Farquaad's virtues, the fact that he is very clearly a clever dude. At the beginning of the movie, whenever the tournament scene is happening and Shrek barges in, Farquaad then says whoever kills the ogre will have the honor of going on the quest for me. But as Shrek destroys all of his men, Farquaad then says, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send Shrek out on this quest to rescue Fiona instead of sending one of his own men.
And honestly, the very fact that they're having a tournament to determine this kind of tells you they live in complete peace and have security, because typically in times of peace, they have these tournaments to keep the soldiers sharp because they're not out fighting.
Also keep in mind
true.
that the villagers were insanely entertained by this. Like, not only is he providing safety and security, but also entertainment. Come on now. Farquaad's problem is that he had no way of knowing that his bride-to-be would also end up being a slam pig for Green Kings. Truly, his only crime is being born 5'11".
Even the writers of this know a woman would rather choose an ogre than a short guy.
People may counter what we're saying by saying, oh, well, Farquaad's an egomaniac. But I would say, given the circumstances, is that not warranted? Like, if Trump deported all the illegals, cleaned up all the major cities, and got rid of the fent zombies, I would happily worship him as the god emperor of mankind.
I gotta subscribe. Yep. No, I think they're right. No, they're right. That's what I said. That's what I said. And they're, yep. The ego is justified. They're 100% right. Lord Farquaad was right, guys.
I wish
Let's
Trump would
keep
like
cooking,
Farquaad.
boys.
Well, Farquaad's not on the Epstein list, so you can start there.
Yeah.
It's also just insulting that a man who did so much good for the town of Duloc died so unceremoniously. Like, after Donkey rides in and has Dragon eat Farquaad, the villagers even clap at Donkey's joke about Farquaad's death. This is so jarring when you consider that, based on the little we see of Duloc, it genuinely seems like poverty and crime doesn't exist here. The one wide shot we see of the city outside of the church paints this city as pristine. It looks like an amazing place to live.
By the way, also keep in mind that in the Shrek Halloween special, we see Duloc again after Farquaad is dead, and it's genuinely become a haunted ghost town. This man was single-handedly holding up this city, and Shrek ruined it by calling the dragon in here to eat.
Now, since the film obviously paints Farquaad as the villain and Shrek as the hero, let's contrast the actions of these two, and it'll become abundantly clear who the real hero is. Shrek throughout this film is almost exclusively self-interested. His primary motivation is reclaiming his home for himself, and as we said before, there's nothing wrong with wanting to preserve your own home, unless you're ethnically European, of course. Farquaad is portrayed as being evil for exiling the fairy tale creatures, but Shrek literally says once he delivers Fiona back to Farquaad, he's going to build a wall around his swamp. It's funny that people get mad when Farquaad's going to do it, but no one cares when Shrek does it.
What's kind of funny is neither the hero nor the villain in this film wants the illegal immigrants. It's almost like all of us can agree they need to go. But ultimately, the main issue spawns from the fact that
I mean, true, they do, bro. That's why ICE is modern day superheroes.
Shrek is
Everybody knows
a morally bankrupt ogre, but somehow is painted as the sympathetic hero of the movie. And the whole message of the movie is don't judge a book by its cover, which is incredibly stupid, because the whole purpose of a cover is to inform you of what the contents of the book are. Somehow
Prejudice is awesome, bro. I can tell that these two people who make this channel are completely based, bro. I would love to get to know these people. These people sound like giga-based individuals, man. I need to watch more of their video stat. This might be a gem that we all just found together. This is incredible.
Somehow Shrek has the audacity
This
to
is
point the
incredible.
finger at others for noticing his terrible behavior and judging him for it while pretending like he isn't responsible for his horrible reputation. I mean, consider this. He takes tremendous joy in absolutely terrorizing the villagers. I mean, there's an entire music video that plays at the beginning of the movie to demonstrate just how much Shrek loves scaring people. And not only is Shrek scaring Farquaad's subjects, he kills them and eats them. I mean, he has a jar of eyeballs on his kitchen table and says that the jelly from human eyeballs is actually quite good on toast.
Keep in mind, we see
Wait, he's right. Shrek is a murderous fucking ogre.
him eating from this jar of eyeballs before the villagers show up, so you can't say that this was a reaction to them invading his swamp.
He's just playing with his food. It's rich that Shrek laments the fact that people judge him without getting to know him, yet he doesn't pay that same courtesy to other people. I
Yep.
mean, he repeatedly judges Farquaad for being short, and he also judges Fiona because she didn't act the way he thinks a princess should act.
Yep.
Shrek is a massive hypocrite throughout this whole movie.
On top of that, Shrek destroys an entire kingdom just to get a crumb of mediocre nookie pop. The moment he marries Fiona, she gets fat.
That's actually incredible. What did the movie mean by this?
You know the difference between a girlfriend and a wife? About 35 pounds.
Well, in addition to all those bad things,
Dude, you know what's crazy? Fiona still aged better than any middle-aged Latina. And we all know it, bro. Latinas fall off a cliff. They are honeypots, boys. Disgusting. No, thank you.
Shrek is immensely
No, thank
selfish
you.
and has no regard for other people. Shrek gives Donkey a YouTube apology video only to get information out of Donkey. He doesn't mean that at all.
Well, he completely emotionally manipulates him because he is shutting Donkey down on every front in terms of continuing his friendship with him until he lets that slip, at which point he pretends to care only to extort that information out of him.
Right. You also gotta love the typical, well guys, I messed up. Just typical YouTube apology video.
On top of that, Shrek doesn't even apologize to Fiona for eavesdropping in on her conversation with Donkey, on top of misunderstanding it because he didn't have the context of who she was speaking about. But instead of asking, he just soys out and leaves, goes and gets
Yep.
Farquaad to fast track the marriage. And in the
Yep.
marriage scene where Shrek busts through the doors to break up the marriage, he whistles to the dragon to come eat Farquaad. And man, he is entirely in the wrong for even interrupting this marriage to begin with, just because he changed his mind last
Yep.
second.
Right.
True.
And to be fair, like Shrek is doing it in self-defense, but it's like if you invade someone else's home and then you proceed to engage in self-defense. You're wrong because you were in their house. You are in a place you do not belong.
Bro, actual fucking facts. You know what? Fuck Shrek, dude. I'm rewatching this shit tonight just to shit on this green bald fuck.
So the
I don't know.
self-defense charge doesn't really work here.
I don't know, man. In some states, you have to ask them to leave before you can defend yourself.
You need to leave.
And I'm sure everyone watching this is familiar with the extremely famous line that Shrek has in this film, where he makes his little speech about how ogres are like
Ogres are like onions. They have layers.
onions because they have layers. But watching this as an adult, it rang so hollow because he simply just proclaims it and doesn't elaborate, but we're shown evidence to the contrary throughout this film. Throughout this entire movie, Shrek is bitter, he's selfish, he's mean to everyone, including
Yep.
Donkey, and the
Yep.
only person he treats well is the one girl that he just happened to catch feelings for.
Yep.
So, while the movie tells us ogres have layers, what we actually see is that they are exactly what humans see them as on a surface level.
This movie is essentially just telling us to ignore our lying eyes.
And the one selfless act that we do have to give Shrek some credit for is he does save Donkey from becoming Dragon's sex slave when they're rescuing Fiona. But this does not make up for how he treats him.
Yeah, well, I don't know, bro. I mean, maybe it could have been a good thing. Donkey was about it in Shrek 2, bro. He was all about some dragon puss. Man, becoming a dragon sex slave. Oh, it's awful. Oh, you guys go on ahead. I'll hold him back.
The other 95% of the movie.
By the way, what a wild thing to include in a children's movie.
Oh, yeah.
That scene was crazy subversive. Like, what
Oh,
are we
yeah.
doing putting this in a kid's movie?
True.
Are you referring to where Donkey makes a comment that makes it sound like the dragon's giving him a little sloppy toppy?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, he says, hey, what you gonna do with that? It's like, what are we doing, man? This is bad. But genuinely, like, going back to the Shrek conversation, Genuinely, what conclusion are people supposed to draw when this is the sort of stuff Shrek does on a regular basis? People are totally justified for judging Shrek, and it gets even worse in the following movies. So if you guys want and there's an appetite for it, I mean, maybe we'll look into doing a video on those at some point.
Dude.
We've become hyper aware of propaganda in modern media.
Also, Puss in Boots, infinitely better than Shrek. I'll die on that hill, bro. Puss in Boots 1, Puss in Boots 2, fucking peak fiction, man. Such good movies.
Because a lot of today's writers lack any sort of subtlety to push their
I'm looking at their skin color.
message without just beating you over the head with it. But the more and more I watch 90s and early 2000s media now as an adult, the more I can see the subtle propaganda that a lot of us missed as kids.
Right. The Rock goes so far back. Hollywood as a whole really has been pushing this for ages.
Reinforcing and normalizing a nation's people to embrace outsiders and give no care to things like border security is how you end up with Muhammad being the most popular name for newborns in the UK.
The Shrek movie actually teaches us a very valuable lesson, which is that we actually should judge a book by its cover, and that we're actually vindicated when we do so. As we
Bro, the chuddiest of chud channels. We found it, boys. We found a fucking gold mine. Holy shit, that was peak. My God.